Hey everybody, Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com. If you're looking for any parts or accessories for your scooters, go no further than ScooterWest.com. You'll find our famous blue labels. So today I'm going to talk about replacing the antenna on the Immobilizer system. So the prior video I talked about programming keys and some of the troubleshooting steps for the Immobilizer system with this little blinking code light. So all your keys, they sometimes don't start it. Usually I tell people first troubleshoot by trying another key. Make sure you don't have a bunch of other keys on a key ring. That's the second troubleshooting tip for an antenna problem where it doesn't detect the key. So it's pretty much an RFID chip. No different than a smart credit card where you tap your credit card on a credit card reader. It works in this exact same principles. But for instance, every once in a while or all the time, you turn the key on with a known working key and it turns on, it blinks once, then you get the 2-blink code. So if it's a 3-blink code, you definitely know it's either an unprogrammed key or a chip failure, or the chip's not programmed correctly to the scooter. But 2-blink, and usually it's pretty random and occasional. A lot of times you'll try again and then it will start. That's the typical failure mode of these is you try a couple times, or it only happens on humid days, moist days, because these antennas have really fine coils and I think the moisture intrudes into them and causes problems. So show you how to replace the antenna. And first of all, you need to know what type of antenna your scooter uses. They pretty much have 2 designs of the antenna. So if you have a carbureted Vespa, so this is an LX150 from 2009, not the LX150IE, or if you have any model of the Primavera or Sprint sold here in North America, it's, I think all the way up till 2023, 2024, they did go to a different design. They're going to use the more simple passive antenna. And what I mean by passive, there's no electronics in this. It's got a 3-pin connector on it, a little pigtail cord, and pretty much this one fits most of the models. It's the most common one we sell. So 828, 800, of course, is the less costly part. If you have any of the fuel injected models, such as any of the GTS 250, 300, even the 300 HPE, all the way to 2022. So pretty much a GTS from 2006 to 2022, along with the LX 150 IEs, could be a Fly 150. Any of the models that have like the ECU that's on the throttle body, so it looks like a block, you know, where your throttle cables go, is likely going to take this one. And this is a 638 534 or a 1D004058R. We refer to it with the older part number, but you're obviously getting a more updated design. And it's differentiated by, it's got this little potted electronic module and a 3-pin connector. So they pretty much return the exact same air codes when they don't detect it. The later bikes, we could plug into a computer with pads and you could see more details of those error codes, you know, if you have an open circuit, so maybe a wiring issue. I'm not saying the antenna is always going to be it, but I would say 90% of the time it is an antenna when you have an immobilizer issue. Every once in a while I'll see chip issues, sometimes ECU issues, and sometimes wiring issues as well. So air codes and plugging things in, it's not always the magic answer to give you the proper diagnostics of what you're looking for. So first of all, on this LX, it's one of the simpler models to get inside this glove box. You can watch a lot of my prior videos on Primaveras, Sprints, GTSs. They're much more complicated glove boxes to remove, but you pretty much need to get that off. You might watch a light kit video and I take the glove box off. To get you in the right place. So we're going to open up the glove box. A couple screws. I got this nice little short number 3 Phillips. Works pretty good for these LX ones because they're. Normally I put a rag across the floorboard, but this is a scratched up used bike. I'll take care not to scratch it, but if it's a nice fresh brand new scooter, I usually put rags over everything. get all the screws out of the way. There's 3 inside the glove box, and then we're gonna move around to the front and take the horn cover off. So definitely easier with this big screwdriver. So we're at the front. Usually I like to use a pry tool, but I'll be very careful with a flat blade screwdriver. Pop the Piaggio badge off, and these older models, just a Phillips screw right in the center. It's a pretty cool paint job. It's got some nice sparkles. But unfortunately on the left side it's a little bit scratched up. We do have this for sale. A longtime customer of ours. She wanted to trim it down from 3 scooters to 2 scooters, so bought this one, did some repairs on it. It's got a 190 kit, and it's even got the cool light kit, none of those silly pods. It's got a really cool paint job with the exception of the scratches. So probably gonna go quick. Get those 2 screws out, and we'll be back on the back side of the glove box and take it from here. All right, so to get these LX glove boxes off, you kind of lift that little latch there, kind of work it away from the body work. It's a little harder with the handlebar cover in place, and pull it, drop it down, and then away. And there's no wires or anything. The ET4 is gonna have some wires. A couple things that are located under here for the ignition system. This is your CDI box right here, this box, and it's got a rubber boot that we're gonna go ahead and pull off. Kind of keeps moisture off the connections. Of course, you want to check the connection. It may be a loose connection or a pin that's bad. And then you have the antenna itself. The way the antenna works is this is your lock cylinder right here. Kind of pushes in to release the glove box. And there's 3 tabs all around it. And you just kind of lift them with your fingers, and then you can pop this off. And I see a lot of people break these, pretty fragile. And then the wire's kind of routed through here and all the way around. Go ahead and pull that connector out. And pull it through the boot right here. So it's the uppermost connector. So there's your antenna. Take your new one. So it's got the wire all wrapped. And what I've found, especially on the Primaveras and Sprints, sometimes the routing of this wire, because it actually has radio frequency going through it. If you have it like parallel with the voltage regulator or some other wires, sometimes it will cause some issues. So you may need to check, make sure you follow the routing the way it was originally. Kind of goes around, and the way it works is you just line up the tabs with these corners and carefully snap this in place. And there's like a little, I think a little flat right here, a little notch where the wire is, so it kind of only goes in one direction. Kind of looking at it from the side, but it just snaps on like that. Route the wire around, back through this little boot. Of course, before you put the glove box on, you want to make sure it all works. A couple other little things you should look for. A lot of times people have problems with the Immobilizer ignition. There's 2 other things you may want to look at as well before you just jump to a conclusion of replacing the CDI box or the ignition box that has all the electronics in it all sealed up. So we'll see if the new antenna works. So put the key in, that's our master key, we know worked fine before. 1 blink, no more blinks, so it's gonna definitely start. So if the code light's off, detected the chip in here, no problem, and no issues. Just to kind of show you what happens if you have it disconnected. The only time it detects a chip is not when you're riding, it's the moment you turn the key on. So keep that in mind. So I'm gonna have that connector just disconnected just to show you what it does. So 1 blink, 2 blinks. And it pretty much didn't detect the chip. And if I plug the connector back in, makes a nice little click, like that, back on, blink once, detected the key. So this kind of just shows you what the basic error codes that come up with if it's disconnected or the chip's missing, you know, same kind of error code that you're gonna get. So pretty easy to do. The one with the connector, pretty much the same way, but there's a little connector with a tab on it that releases. Looks pretty similar, it's just more complicated. Get the glove box off. I do love these LXs, nice and simple, not much going on under here. You know, I got some relays and a voltage regulator. I was gonna tell you about some other things you may wanna troubleshoot. Probably one of the #1 issues with these scooters is the kill switches get corrosion. And you can see it's still just blinking like the scooter's off. So whenever you do ignition kill switch on, that's when it detects a key. But if this switch is intermittent, it will sometimes cause the scooter to either glitch or not detect the key. So the first thing I always come to before even replacing antennas is replacing one of these kill switches. These scooters are getting old, the corrosions attack the contacts, plus it just looks really nice with a new switch. Pretty inexpensive. You can find this engine kill switch on the Scooter West web store. The second one, sometimes you'll wiggle the ignition key and you'll see the lights flickering on the dash. And that means your ignition switch is on the fritz and on its way out. So pretty simple to change this as well. Turn ignition off and you just lift this clip right here. So right back there, and then you can pull the ignition switch out. So it looks just like this. And oftentimes you may see corrosion in there, especially if scooters on the coast or exposed to a lot of moisture. Pretty inexpensive part to replace, especially if you notice the lights flicker or ignition cuts out when you're riding. You may want to replace it. There's a couple different variations for the newer models because they have more key positions. But the most common one for something like this LX is the 580621. So pretty easy to install. Pretty much make sure it's in the off position. Click the connector on. Make sure that clip is in place. You can actually buy that as a spare part if you lose that clip. And it just snaps right in place. So sometimes you got to wiggle it a little bit to get it in position, then make sure it works just fine. So I'm not going to replace that because I know it works just fine, but just some other good troubleshooting tips for ignition problems on the Vespa. Thanks for watching. Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com. So if you're looking for any of those parts, look no further, ScooterWest.com. Next video, I'm going to talk about replacing the CDI because you plug a new one in, it's just not going to work out of the box. Robot here, signing out from Tahquitz Peak, the fire lookout up there. Actually rode my vintage Vespa up to about 6,500 feet on a dirt road and then hiked the rest of the way up here, almost 9,000 feet. See you in the next one. Robot here.